Good evening and welcome to the Monday, October 6, 2014 meeting of the Guilford Parks and Rec Commission. Call the meeting to order at 6:32 p.m. First thing on the agenda is item number 1, public forum. We do have 2 people in the you care to address the board, please feel free to do so.
Joe Nugent, 423 New Whitfield Street. Lived in Guilford for 41 years. I spend a lot of time down at the marina. I walk a dog 5 times a day during the summer, 4 times a day during the winter time. I am a boater. I have a boat down there. One of the issues I have is that the marina is used by the public, non-boaters, quite a bit. It's a turnaround point for a lot of walkers. They walk from the center of town down to the marina, they walk back, or park the car down there, walk up to town. Joggers use it, et cetera, et cetera. The issue is the porta potty. The Marina Commission pays for the porta potty. You want to know how much it costs? It costs $150 a month. They pay $225 a month because they insist on having it pumped out twice a month. They take the porta potty out in November, but the people do not stop coming. Tourists go down there. It's a destination point. And I think the town could afford to leave that porta potty down there 12 months of the year. I work for the government. I know how the game is played. Not out of my budget. I'm not going to pay for it. Let's look at it this way. It's for the public. It's that simple. The money should come from someplace. The Marina Commission said, well, I shouldn't say that. Talking to people in the marina, they said that the commission, in all probability, would not pay for the other 5 months. I think Park and Rec should pick up the tab because it is a feature, it is something that the Park and Rec department should be able to handle. Any comments?
Personally?
Personally?
I'm being, I think there's been a lot of things that in some way, shape, or form have been, in plain English, dumped on the Park and Rec Commission that we're not ultimately responsible for. From a budgetary perspective, it's a matter of, and I'm going to make a suggestion here, not that we'll take any action, we'll talk with the rest of the commission, but it's the marina's responsibility. They have a budget just like we do. I would suggest that maybe we contact them, or the Marina Commission, and tell them that you've brought the issue to us, and that we think it should be addressed in the budget process that begins now, that has to be addressed before it's submitted in December for the upcoming year.
Yeah. The issue with the Marina Commission is their focal point is on the water, See, not on the parking lot. And the parking lot is open to everybody. Some people on the Marina Commission and some boaters down there, by the way, disclaimer, I am a boater down there, I've had a boat down there for 25 years, like to have that as a, quote, private yacht club. It is not a private yacht club, it is town property.
Let me reassure you this, we will bring it up as an issue. Where it ultimately resides, I mean, another issue could be, it's a public parking lot, it's for the whole town use. Maybe it's a public work domain, I don't know. I don't necessarily know if it's a Park and Rec domain or not. But we as a commission will discuss that. I will make sure that we address it with the Marina Commission, and we'll bring it up with the town fathers during our budget process.
I could make a suggestion.
Sure.
The town perhaps should look into a grant and get a non-chemical toilet down there, like we have on Faulkner's Island, which doesn't require the maintenance, et cetera, et cetera.
I hear you.
And that might work, you know?
And I agree with you that it is more than just a marina. I myself personally go down there and sit and walk or whatever, so I see where you're coming from. So we will pursue that. Not going to happen in the next month or two, but I will make sure it's part of the budget process for the 2015-2016 budget, correct? Rick?
I have a question though. What'd you say they're paying per month? $125 or something?
170.
They're being charged $150 a month is the flat rate, but they insist upon it. The Marina Commission insists that it gets pumped out.
Is it a handicap unit?
It is a handicap
Okay,
unit.
that's why. Because I was saying it's pretty expensive. It's more than what we pay, but it's a handicap unit.
It's a
That's what I
handicap.
wanted.
I don't know why it's a handicap unit. Someone made that decision, obviously, but I think a non-handicap unit would probably work down
Yeah, I
there.
think in a place like that, you probably do need one for, that
If it's a-
allows for handicap access
If it's
also.
a public
Yeah.
access, it should be handicapped, for
Accessible.
handicapped.
Yeah, we might be helped. And that's another reason why I think we need to do a little checking on it. I don't know what the requirements might be from a state ordinance, from a health department ordinance, and from a handicap
Well, I don't think
perspective.
there's an ADA compliance issue down there, per se, because there's no designated walkway or anything like that either, so, and I don't want to go into that already, but, so I don't think ADA compliance is an issue, so if it was not a handicap unit, it would be acceptable, so.
Okay, we'll follow up.
Thank you.
And you're free, if you don't want to stay for the rest of the meeting, feel free. It's not necessary. You might get bored. Anybody else wishing, from the public wishing to address the commission? Hearing none, we'll move on to item number 2, which is staff and director reports. I'm sorry, I'm going to make a change in the agenda, which I forgot to note, 2 changes. I think we need to recognize our new commission member before the end of the meeting. She's sitting here before we get started. I'd like to welcome Claire Kincaid Dunn, who happens to be a past neighbor of mine, who kindly refreshed my memory about how long ago we knew each other. So welcome to the commission.
Are you gonna give us reasons why you moved?
Since our house is backed up on one another, probably because of me. Second item, I want to add an agenda item under old business.
Right. You should have the commission give their names in case Claire doesn't know everybody.
Okay, why don't we go around the table and introduce ourselves?
I'm Suzanne McDermott.
Again, I'm Jack Penders.
Judy Sullivan.
Sue Robbins.
Rob Shapani.
We met Rick Maynard.
John Jagelski.
Kathy Stewart, I'm the recording secretary.
And we have 2 members who are not with us tonight, Rose Dostert and Barbara Pine. Female dominated here. Number 2, staff and director reports. Any issues, changes, concerns, questions?
You wanted to add something to the agenda, Mr. Chairman?
Sure.
No, you said you wanted to add something.
H, item 6H. We should discuss the appointment to the Land Acquisition Commission since Jenny's gone, and see if we have any volunteers that might want to serve on and fill that appointment. Jack? Correspondence. I didn't have any other than what Rick handed me tonight. And I think that this is a last minute, the note from Terry Buckley. I'm going to suggest that we go through this and read it and then maybe address it at the next meeting, if that's okay with you, Rick?
Sure.
Anybody have a problem with that?
Was there one in there from Mary Kelly? Did you have, anybody have that in your packet?
Yeah.
Was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure that you got it.
Yeah, it's, well, I figured I was going to leave that because we have an agenda item.
Okay.
But there is some correspondence with respect to Circle Beach and dogs in general. And I think everybody's had a chance to read that. Okay. Minutes, approval. I guess for the time being, and you won't be able to vote on minutes because you weren't at the last meeting, but we usually go this. You get the stuff in advance, and if you have any changes or questions about it, this is where we bring it up. Any changes?
I'd make a motion to approve.
I do.
Jack has a change.
Yeah.
Why, it wouldn't be a meeting if we didn't have one.
Zingers.
He's on a roll tonight.
Well, I'm glad somebody reads them conscientiously.
It's under the public forum section on page 2. And if you go to the 5th line from the bottom.
Bottom of
5th
what?
line from the bottom of the public forum section.
Mr. Penders, go ahead.
First sentence is fine. Mr. Penders felt there could be accommodations if both sides were agreeable. Then the next sentence looks like I said that, and I didn't. Another member of the commission said that.
Yeah, that's why I said it was also noted rather than saying Mr. Penders noted.
Yeah, but I mean, in other parts of the minutes you say, like Mr. Shapani noted, indicate who said something. And here,
Yeah.
since you didn't indicate who said something, you
Because I
can...
wasn't
you
quite
can-
sure who it was who said that.
Why don't you just say another commission member and add that? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, yeah.
So it was also noted by another commission member?
Oh, hold on a minute. I think that might have been me. I believe that was me.
Okay, well.
I was the commissioner.
You want to be formally identified?
I'll be identified,
All
all
right,
right,
so
Kathy? I'll take it.
Anything else you're responsible? Anything else you're responsible for?
A lot.
Any other changes, requesting changes?
No, there's nothing else I said.
No, I just had some questions about one of the Rick's reports, but I'm leaving it until we get into the agenda item on the discussion. So,
Somebody to second.
okay.
Need somebody to second. the-
So I need some, I have a motion by Sue to approve the minutes. I need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? One abstention, wasn't here. Old business. No, what did I miss? Approval of bills, yeah. I did that
Approval
part.
of
Most
bills.
important thing.
That's why we're here.
It's the only reason why we're here, tonight at least. Do I have a motion or any questions with respect to August 2014 bills?
I had a couple of questions. Rick, what is precision mechanical? There's two items, one is low and one is high.
Yeah, they take care of our sprinkler alarm system, and our sprinkler alarm wasn't working. That was the big one, the 1800.
okay.
It had to get replaced. And the other one is was some testing they had to do on the sprinkler system. It was two different visits, two different issues.
Okay, it just seemed like a discrepancy
Yeah.
between the two. And then under, on the right-hand column, Pioneer, the 5387,
That's our field marking paint for the season.
is that what it
Winter
usually is
paint.
every season?
I'm sorry?
Is that what it,
Um,
depends on what you're.
Yeah, it depends on, generally, we're budgeting for about $10,000 or $12,000 for the whole year.
Yeah.
Field marking paint, so that's for the season. It'll take us through all the fall and probably the beginning of the spring.
And then on the CLP, there's several, but I wonder what the bigger one was. Thanks.
That one is the community center.
Okay.
Okay. Old business, item
We
6.
We did
make a
Oh, I'm sorry, make a motion to, tell them in a hurry. Make a motion,
Railroad.
has to make a motion to approve the bills in the amount of $97,915.25.
I shall
Second.
move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now, 6 for the third time. Three strikes and you're out.
Yes, let's do 6.
6A, Standing Fields Committee.
Let's see, we met last week, and still the outstanding issue is the baseball field. They haven't gotten the final punch list items from that to us yet, although we've been told that they want us to take that over sometime in October. So we're in October now, but we haven't seen movement on that yet. I mean, they're doing things to correct the punch list. I just haven't gotten the final report on that, nor has Paul Schmidt. And the other thing is, in our 5-year budget, capital budget, I think for next year, we have in for regrading the south field, which is the left field at Upper Cox. If you go up the hill, the field to the left, it's in our 5-year budget. So Paul Schmidt and I have been talking with Youth Lacrosse and the 2 soccer organizations to contribute toward the engineering study for that. We need about $20,000, which we didn't budget for the design of that project. And so far, we have a $5,000 commitment from Lacrosse. And we met with the president of youth soccer on Friday, and we're waiting to hear back from the 2 soccer organizations. And so we're hoping to get money from the groups that use the field to help pay for the design services. And those are the 2 kind of bigger issues that we're looking at right now for the fields. Oh, the field walk is October 18th, if anyone's interested, at 7 o'clock.
What do you go?
We're going to start at the high school baseball field.
The 18th?
Yeah.
Saturday?
Yeah. And then
Okay.
they'll walk Sunday also at 7, depending on where they leave off on Saturday, will be where they start up on Sunday. But the 18th will be 7 at the baseball field at the high school.
At 8 AM.
7 a.m.,
Oh,
yeah.
7.
Yeah.
And the second one is
7 on
also-
Saturday.
Second would be on Sunday at the same time, but I don't know where they're gonna, again, it's wherever they leave off. Where we leave off on Saturday is where we start on Sunday.
Can I pursue one other thing with that? standing fields. Actually, it's on Rick's Director's Report, number 11, renovations to Bittner A Field. What exactly are we renovating here?
We're gonna do like we did to the Bidner, but to Adams B Field, we're gonna take the infield out. It's quite a dish now, and Little League's gonna help us cover the cost of that. But we're gonna remove I have the specs I sent out to 3 different contractors. I got they're due back next Friday, I think. It'd be pretty much the same thing, taking out the sod, the grass that's there, regrade it, so it drains better, reinstalling the sod and getting the lifts out.
Okay.
You'll put sod in, huh?
Yeah.
They don't want to play on the dirt infield? Isn't it?
No, that's baseball there.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's not
okay.
softball. It's-
Softball's on
I'm
C.
the other side of this field.
Yeah.
That's the upper field next to the adult field.
Yeah, behind the lighted field.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any further discussion on the Fields Committee, Rick? No?
No?
Jacobs Beach, Sue?
I'll start with the good news. The good news is that the bathhouse walls and floor were painted, so that's done. I spoke to John Cunningham today, as a matter of fact, and he is working on, he's working at 2 projects that have a good resource for boulders.
Okay.
So he is going to pick one out, and he has equipment on site where he's working that can bring it to Jacobs Beach parking lot. And then he had recommended that either if the town can move it, if they have the equipment to lift it up and move it to the flagpole, or to hire someone to lift it up, because it'll be heavy. I don't know what we have available for
Depending how big,
equipment.
depending how large it is, our loader can handle certain, but not the public works loader can handle really heavy stuff.
Yeah, so he's going to call me as soon as he picks one out, and then we can get it down there and they get that plaque attached to it. We are all aware on the commission, however, for the public, I wanted everyone to know that unfortunately someone stole one of the Adirondack chairs that were donated. A new one has been ordered, but unfortunately, that's a sad thing that happened. We secured them with the intent that, gee, if anybody but who would do such a thing. However, it happened, our worst fear happened. So we're looking into trying to get a better secure system to keep them tethered and locked. So if anyone happens to know where that chair is, if they would just return it, that's what we would really like, to just see it returned. And moving forward, we'll come up with a better system so that that won't happen again.
Will we pull the chairs in for winter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the family of the loved one, how are they handling that?
I didn't speak with them. They're thinking-
Well, they're the ones that actually found it
They
was
found
missing.
it, but-
They went down to go
So it
use
was
it
missing.
and called the police. Police called me. I went down, I took the other one out because they paid for both chairs. I grabbed the other one because it was just sitting there by itself and I didn't want it to walk. And so we have it. The people are aware of it. Actually, I've got to call them, let them know we did order a new one. I haven't done that yet. The people, and we'll get another plaque to put on it too. We'll probably have it in about 2 weeks, I think, the new chair. But it's terrible.
It is, it's like the equivalent of stealing a gravestone, you know? I mean, it's like, it was a monument to
Right.
somebody. It's
People-
horrible.
People donated these for their loved ones.
Yeah.
And they have plaques on them, and it's just unfortunate. So hopefully it won't happen again, and certainly with our better system, or new and improved, we can keep that from happening.
Yeah, I saw John, what's his name, we left. By the way, speaking about Jacobs Beach, did that vote, that state vote for the architectural project of the year ever get to conclusion? Did
I
it
haven't
get
heard. I sent an
nominated?
email to Will to
Yeah,
find
Will.
out if the voting is still in, because somebody else was interested in
I
it.
saw him last week.
I didn't
So
know
it
if
was
it's
done that
still
day.
going or not, but I haven't heard back from him.
Okay. Yeah, we should check on
Got
that,
the
because
award.
that would be
I
nice thing to
voted.
publicize also.
Yeah. Yeah. Ralph, can I mention one other quick thing about Jacobs Beach? Next week, the Connecticut Parks Association, we're hosting them down here for a seminar. And it'll be Parks and Rec directors and mostly maintenance staff from all over the state will be coming to this seminar that I'm going to speak at it. Well, the main speaker is John Cunningham. He's going to talk about the salt-tolerant plants that he put down there. We're going to do a demonstration of our beach cleaner. The guy with the diamond piers, the anchoring system, he's going to come and do a presentation. And usually there's, a fairly good turnout, 50 to 70 people come to these events, so this gives us an opportunity to show off our nice new project down there, and Larry's gonna do a cookout as part of it. It's all part of Connecticut Parks
Is
Association.
this now again? Repeat the date?
It's on Thursday, Wednesday, the 15th. It's not open to the public, it's for Parks and Rec people to come to it, but it's gonna be an opportunity for us to show people all over the state, other Parks and Rec directors, what we have down
You gonna
there.
have the press there to cover it?
Well, we could call them.
Why not? What publicity we get for that place? I mean, that's a crowning achievement. I thought an outstanding job has been done, and I think we just gotta continue to let people know
Yeah.
what a popular facility has become, in my personal opinion.
Our numbers are really great. Anytime you go down there, there's always an increased amount of people down there. which is
Yeah, I mean, just 2 Sundays ago I was down there. It was a pretty nice day. There were 75 people on the beach. It's almost as busy in the summertime.
Yeah.
And no lifeguards.
Those chairs are awesome. Just,
Yeah.
they were such a nice addition,
Yeah. They look nice and they're very comfortable too.
There.
6C, Eagle Scout projects, bleacher repair.
Yeah, that's the only one I think still outstanding right now, and he actually started the work up at Vinter Park on Saturday.
Is that what he,
And, I'm sorry, Jack.
I saw somebody putting paint on that, the spray paint on the iron girders of the bleachers?
Yeah,
Or is that
they're-
another project entirely?
No, that was part of, they were gonna paint, I hope they scraped them down first, but they were gonna paint those, and they took off all the old boards, put all new boards on, they had painted those like in their garage, brought those on Saturday. They're, I think they got them all done on the softball field and the first or third base side of the A field, I forgot which, they're gonna get replaced too. So they got a lot done on
They're
Saturday.
doing 3 fields?
2, the lighted field and
That's the
the A
adult
field.
field.
I think the other ones are aluminum bleachers. The
Yeah,
wooden
that
ones are
one's
just
on
the
the
A
B
field
field,
and the lighted field.
Good, okay.
6D, Global Award, Girl Scouts project, libraries and talks. How did that proceed?
Well,
She's been with you this week?
Actually, I haven't had a chance to meet with Emma yet, but Emma and I have been in contact via
Mhm.
email. So, and then Rick, you had emailed me regarding this, and I can't remember exactly what you said, so.
I think just let me know when you're gonna meet
Yeah.
somewhere, and I'd like to maybe have Tony come too. so
Okay.
We'll talk about, because I wanna make sure whatever maintenance around
Yeah.
it, we can.
I've been looking up all like different, ideas for other libraries and stuff. It's a really neat project. It really will add to the community, but I'll definitely include you in on the, so.
6E, dog park. I know Barbara's not here. What's
I'm
happening
gonna let you know
there?
that John Cunningham is working on a site plan for the volunteers that are working on that project. He went out to Peddler's Park to get a better feel for the lay of the land there, and he got a copy of like a Google Earth map from Kevin McGee. And so he's developing a site plan that has to go to planning and zoning, and so he's working on that. And he's been in contact with the ladies involved in that project.
Good.
Sounds like they're making progress.
Yeah.
Any projected time frame that they're looking to do it? I mean, I know they're still raising money.
I think they're kind of waiting for the final approval to really put a push on the fundraising for the
Right.
fence. Because I think the thought was, they really shouldn't raise too much money yet until they know they can do it.
Right.
And so, I think that's where they're waiting for planning and zoning approval right now.
Well, I think it's been handled positively. They're taking the right approach, the right steps through the proper channels, and hopefully we'll have a solution and that'll be, make everybody happy, so. Okay. Now it's time for a long discussion, I guess. 6F, dogs on beaches, and like to hear what everybody's thoughts are on where we're at. First, before we get started, I need 2 clarifications. And I guess they're from you, Rick. And then we'll proceed with our discussion about what needs to be done and how we should proceed. In your director's report, with the dogs on the beach issue, you said you researched policy in other towns, and I saw your email with respect to that. And you discussed with the town attorney and the health director. What were their findings and their opinions?
The town attorney, we talked about the issue about the deed, and I actually have a copy of the deed, where the town took ownership of it. I could have made a copy for everybody, but I didn't.
No,
but it's in here, it was like 1998, I think, somewhere around there, here it is. Pam gave me this. And so 1998 is when the town took ownership. And so I asked her about the issue of if somebody has deeded rights to the beach, or had them, how does that work? And she's basically, she says they still have rights to use the beach. If the town owns the beach, the town's rules and regulations are in force.
Okay.
For example, somebody couldn't decide they want to have a cake party on the beach because they have rights to use the beach. If the town law is no alcohol on the beach. If the town rule is no dogs on the beach, technically they can't bring dogs to the beach. If the town rule, you can't set up a tent there and decide they want to stay overnight because parks close at dusk. So she said they still have rights to use the beach, but the town rules and regulations are in force.
Okay, that's
So does
key.
that mean their rights are the same as everybody else in town to the beach then?
Although, I just noticed something here, in the deed, and I guess I gotta get a clarification what this means. It said premises are subject to beach rights of others as set forth in a warranty deed from, and they mentioned this person in 1948. But Pam is the one who sent me this, and we had a conversation about what does that all mean? And that, that everybody has they have deeded rights to use the beach, they still can use the beach, but they have to go under the town's regulations.
Okay, that was item number one.
So
Well, you might wanna get some
essentially,
more
it's not a
clarification on
private
that,
beach. That's what we're coming to this. It's
Yeah.
not
What'd you say, John?
It's not a private beach.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
It's not a homeowners association.
Based on what we know right now.
It's a
There
town
might need
beach.
to be some
Okay.
further clarification. Okay, that's item number one. So theoretically then, at this point in time, at this juncture, that is a town-owned beach,
Correct.
which is subject to the rules and regulations of the town ordinance.
Mhm.
Everybody got that? As now.
Okay. Part two.
Part two, the health director. What were his comments, if any, and concerns?
I haven't in writing, but I talked to him on the phone. I know, Sue, you said you had talked to him before the last meeting, so I had a follow-up call with him. I called Dennis Johnson about health issues. If people sit on blankets on the sand and there's dog feces, urine, he said it could be a health issue. But then he said nothing in the health code prohibits it. And then as we talked more, he said, well, Daniel Ave is more of a remote beach, maybe designate a beach to allow dogs. His opinion
What does that
would-
mean, Rick?
Wait.
Would you say that again, please?
Daniel Ave is a more of a remote, he was comparing it like to Jacobs Beach. Compared to Jacobs Beach, it's not a swimming beach, basically. I guess really what more important, Ralph, is probably, I got a copy of the state health code, which I think I sent out an email to you folks, that is a state public health code that clearly prohibits dogs on swimming beaches, but then they identify swimming beaches as having lifeguards and men's and women's restrooms. It's in here somewhere. I'm sorry, I didn't make a copy for you.
But that's different than our town ordinance,
Right.
which says just beaches.
Right.
The state
So
ordinance
the state is
is
different than what our town
is
is.
different than what the town ordinance says, with the town ordinance being more restrictive. Listen, anything that we call the beach or is maintained as a beach,
Correct.
or we say is a beach,
Falls under the no
falls
dogs.
under the town ordinance first, I would think. Takes
Right.
precedent over the state.
Sometimes state codes supersede
Mhm.
local codes, though.
Well, this is why I'm thinking maybe Dennis said from a public health code, which is a state public health code, it may not be an issue about dogs being there, because here, I made some notes from the health code. Public swimming areas must have on-site toilet facilities for men and women with sinks. The area open for authorized swimming must be clearly designated. When no lifeguard service is provided, warning signs shall state, warning, no lifeguard on duty. Domestic animals shall be prohibited in the water and the land immediately adjacent to the water of a public swimming area when the public swimming area is open for use. But again, they define swimming area as being lifeguarded and having restrooms.
Okay. Just for that, and we have to be, and we gotta check up on Jack's Question.
Mm-hmm.
Before this commission can make any kind of recommendation, and it's my opinion, we have to understand the laws that are currently in place. And then if we decide that the laws are antiquated or inappropriate, then we as a commission can make a recommendation to the town that we would like to see the ordinance changed. Until we know that definitively, I don't know that we can be taking votes or doing anything else. We gotta gather some additional information before we can recommend changes. That's my opinion, not as a chairman, but, you know, and I'm gonna open up the floor here to anybody else that wants to add anything to what we just discussed.
Rick might want to ask the health director if at any time Daniels Beach had been closed by the town or by the state because of dog fecal matter. And I say that because there are all sorts of fecal matter and bacteria that can get onto a beach, not just a possibility of dog fecal matter.
Well, one thing actually we talked about is that there's probably a greater, I don't want to publicize too much, a greater issue at Lake Quantico. There are a lot of geese up there. And so there are goose droppings on the beach. And our staff clean those up. You know, they take it, they haul it
Yeah.
out and throw it
And
away.
then again, though, there are shorebirds at the Daniels
Yeah.
Avenue Beach.
Yeah.
You know, there are the sandpipers and the potential for seagulls if people have food there. But also, there's a telephone pole or a power pole on top of which is a nest
Nest.
of ospreys.
Yeah.
So they certainly could contribute to, not only to the fecal matter there, but also to any bacteria caused by the shells that they drop or the food that they drop. So it isn't just dogs who could contribute to the bacteria levels. There are a whole host of things. And you know, a small example could be something like, you mentioned kids at the beach. It could be, I'm not sure what the technical term is, leaky diapers for toddlers. They're on the beach. You know. People swimming in the water who might have some sort of bacterial disease or ailment. That could contribute to it as well. And also there are those two runoffs. There's about a 2-foot culvert that goes under the road, not the one under the bridge, but it comes under the road. It comes out onto the beach. And even at low tide, before it gets to the end, before the water gets to the end, you can see it leaking out of the sides. And conceivably, that water is runoff from the other side of the road, where bacteria exists or could exist with the plants and possibly septic backups. And then there's the other matter there's the other matter of the big culvert. It's 5 feet high or something, which is underneath the bridge. And that water is rushing in there day after day after day. And another aspect of it is it's a shellfish fishing area, very, very clearly. And there's no limitation no seasonal limitation on that. I mean, they might end the shell fishing if there's, say, more than an inch or two of rain, but that's just a temporary thing.
Yeah, and the health department does they test for us,
Yeah, they
Lake
test.
Quantico and Jacobs. And occasionally after a big rainstorm, there is a bacterial level, we do have to close it.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, for us, they don't test Dana Lab or any other place, but they might for the Shellfish Commission. You know, that's a different
Yeah,
body.
they
but-
test as well, shellfish.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm suggesting is it isn't just a possibility of a dog causing a problem. There's a whole host of things that offer more than one cause for a problem.
Well, again, I'm gonna summarize what I think. If everybody's in agreement, I think our next steps are to clarify the deed issue, the health issue, the local ordinance, based on the town's ordinance, in conjunction with the state, who supersedes what takes precedent. And then we as a commission, the only thing we can do is take the information that we gather, make a decision or a discussion to either request in some way, shape, or form that the ordinance be further defined or changed, or just simply say it's a state and the town ordinance, and we think it should be left alone. I'm not saying which way we should go one way, but I want to make sure that we make an informed and intelligent decision based on the information we have. I'm a dog owner, I'm a dog lover, but I have my own personal opinions. And I also think, and I'm editorializing now, and I shouldn't be doing this, that a lot might depend on what happens with the dog park. I mean, you're looking for a place to exercise your dog, we're looking to provide you one. It may not be on a beach, but it's certainly a facility that you could use if you think you need to unleash your dog and let them interact with other adults and other dogs on the beach. That's my personal opinion. That's not a chairman's opinion. That's my personal opinion. I want to take off my chairman hat when I say that one. Okay? Any other issues or statements?
I just have a question. If we determine that the Daniels Avenue beach is not swimmable, right, that it doesn't meet the qualifications from the state, would
Well,
that
that doesn't
open-
mean it's not swimmable. It just means it doesn't meet the definition of a beach.
Of a beach, okay, so if it's not a beach, would that allow the residents to use that for their pets? Is that a logical progression, or I'm just taking the,
No, I mean,
Still
what's
state.
to stop me from going down and swimming at that quote-unquote Daniels Beach? There's nothing that says I can't swim there. Yeah, I guess you may have to put this is not a town beach, or it's, swim at your own risk. I don't know. We'd have to talk about that whole thing. Or any other beach. I've heard of other beaches that I've never even heard of or a town that people go swimming. So they consider it a beach, but it's not a town beach.
John, on the other hand, if Daniels Avenue Beach was to be determined to be a swimming beach, that opens up a whole host of other issues, though.
Lifeguards.
Then we'd have to, put.
you know, it'd have to be guarded, it'd have to be gated, I mean, there's another progression,
And
logical
that road is
progression.
only about 20 feet
Yeah.
wide at most. And as far as walking from the parking lot onto the beach, you have to walk quite a distance. There isn't any way to walk on the south side of Daniels Road because of those big boulders, which are there for a purpose. And then on the north side of Daniels Avenue, there's very little room to even walk. So that's a hazard for people walking back and forth in terms of accessibility. You know, not to mention at all handicap accessibility.
And the parking lot is not a town lot.
We don't
It's
have
private.
parking.
It's private land.
Yeah.
Well, that might be a necessity for a town beach, just like Quantapug has a beach, has a parking lot. It's across the street, but they've also made accommodations to get people from across the street onto the beach. Stoplight, there's a guard there, there's a whole host of things because those are our two best beaches. A saltwater beach is Jacobs Beach, and our freshwater is Quantapug. How many towns in the state can boast of that?
Well, we don't have lifeguards at Chaffinch, do we?
No.
Jacobs and
That's
Quantico
it, yeah.
places.
So,
The other thing is the dog leash law that we have. Dogs are to be leashed at all times unless on their property. They can be off leash as long as they stay within the borders of their property. So if you now have, if it were to be determined that dogs could use that beach, would they have to also change the leash law to accommodate areas that allow dogs to be off leash, even though they're town-owned? Would that have to be changed? That's something we need to look into as well.
So would you explain that again?
There's a town leash law
Yeah.
that dogs need to be leashed at all times
Right.
unless they are on their property.
Right.
They may be off leash on their own property as long as they stay within the boundaries of their
Yeah,
property.
okay.
yeah.
So knowing that, and dogs would, if Daniel was to become an area where dogs could swim, people, I would think, would not have their dogs swim on a leash, so they would be off leash.
Mhm.
How would our leash law impact that in terms of people having their dogs off leash on public property? All our parks
Yeah.
say your dogs need to be on a leash.
Well, as it's written, I think it would preclude taking a
So
dog off the leash, unless that was modified or changed in some
then
way.
you'd have to also change your leash ordinance in terms of being on property in that area versus all the other parks, you have to have your dog stay on a leash. So that's another,
Unless they were prevented from taking the dog off the leash on the beach, too.
You brought up one other thing too, the Shellfish Commission. You know, I wonder how they, for areas that are designated as shellfishing area, I wonder how they feel about dogs in that
where
area.
water goes up and.
Yeah.
So we need to check into the
Yeah.
Shellfish Commission.
In addition, once this is all settled, we've got to make sure that ownership, for lack of an alternative, if I don't own it, I don't want to be held responsible. Ownership of enforcement of the regulations and where that lies. And quite frankly, I think it employs where every other town law is enforced.
Yep.
With the police department, not with parking and rec.
Well, also,
My opinion.
dog owners need to have their dog licensed and register with the town, in which case they would, I would think, the town would want them to have proof of that in order to use it, if it were to become an area where dogs could go.
Yeah, it was gonna
But that
be
would be
check
another
it.
area, because what's the liability in terms of something happened where dogs are running and two dogs got in a fight, and, I mean, I think we even talked about that as far as the dog park, you know.
Well, it'd be the same as if they were on the town green, too. The dogs are allowed on the town green. If dogs get into a fight there, there could be a liability issue there. Yeah, it's a part of the business we're in.
So it looks like we
complex
have
issue.
We have some
more
work to do
research
before
do.
we
Very
come up with a
complex.
formal proposal, in my opinion.
So do we, I guess the question is, do we do the survey, or do we wait a month?
I think that's
till the next meeting and
premature.
talk about it some more?
I personally don't think, from my perspective, that a survey is necessary. I think this is an issue that, given the right information and the due diligence that we do as a commission to get all the information, that would make it comfortable for us to either make a recommendation to the Board of Selectmen or not. It should come from the commission. And quite honestly, this is a town space. This is not just an area that is Mulberry and Indian Cove. Whereas I think the indication was the survey would be sent to those areas, whereas this is not just the town, not those two areas, this is from the town.
Although I'm curious whether or not it has the unanimous, you know, I would bet it's probably split, you know, I would be kind of curious from the area.
So I can tell you, I have gotten 18 emails,
Yeah.
and this has taken a lot of my time, believe me,
Yeah, I
because I have
know.
to respond to all of them. And 17 were that they would like to continue to have dogs there, as some have said they've been doing for 40 years.
Yeah.
And there was one who asked not to have dogs during the swim season. And I have information of all the beaches in Maine, and all of them allow dogs, but none of them during swim time, like
Well-
either before 9 in the morning, after 6 in the evening, or off-season. But
Well,
they all,
that's part of what we ultimately decide.
Yeah.
If we're gonna do something,
Yeah.
there might be a compromise.
Right.
Let's not spend too much time on it.
Rick,
But
would
we
that-
also have a neighboring town that does not allow dogs anywhere.
yeah, all the towns that only a few towns respond to my
I
survey
don't wanna talk
there,
about
but-
somebody in Maine when my neighbor says no.
Yeah, no, I know, that's a fair evaluation. The only one that has it is Clinton. I met with their Parks and Rec director over there. In their town beach, they actually have, I think I have copies of the signs downstairs, that, I have them here, that advertise exercise areas at the beach. They have certain areas, but their beach is set up different, where it's almost like a Jacobs Beach. If we owned the property beyond the beach, it's kind of like that. They have a peninsula, there's the beach, and then about 100 yards later, they have this grassy area where they can bring their dogs, and they can go in the water over there.
And what's the difference between this and a dog park, if we have a dog park? Reading
Well, there's
bottom side,
water.
Dogs
Well,
must
there's
be
water.
leashed at
Right.
all times.
There's another venue.
So we're allowing for more
I didn't
freedom.
want to add a swimming pool and
Well, they have a dog park too, but that one's, it's a swim area.
There you go, folks.
A couple,
And
My point is, we could be here for hours discussing
Yes.
this,
yeah.
Yeah.
until we
More
find out
information.
what the decisions are, and then we as a commission can decide if we want to change, how we would want to change the word, and what we would want it to impact. All beaches, partial beaches, some of the time, all beaches all of the time.
I just wanted to respond to the part of the conversation with the survey itself.
Oh, okay.
I think it's always good to survey folks in the immediate area. And the focus has been on dogs, but it isn't just dogs, it's the people there. The people who own the dogs and walk with the dogs. So, you know, I think their input is very important. And when we get to the Board of Selectmen, they're gonna say, did you ask the people in the neighborhood?
I just think it's premature with all the background stuff we need to do.
That's a different
you
issue,
know?
though. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, I think it might be something
right.
we venture into if we're going towards that, but,
Yeah.
you know, I think we need more information.
But just to finish up on
We've done,
the third.
and I agree, we've
the
done
third-
surveys in the past.
The third point of input, the ultimate input is going to be the Board of Selectmen and also the public hearing that they would hold.
Absolutely.
And that's the town-wide input.
In terms of the health, when you're talking to Dennis, because I did not ask this when I spoke to him, but when we talk about using the beach some of the time, I got the impression that it's not as if it's an isolated thing, just the issue is when people are there. Dog feces and urine left behind, yes, people say, oh, well, we'll pick it up, but you can't pick urine up and you still leave behind fecal matter in the sand even when you pick it up. So I would be curious to hear what Dennis's thoughts are in terms of it being a part-time use dog versus, and also, you know, let's say you had swimming a certain time or no dogs during a certain time and then dogs could go there. What would be the long-term effect, or how would he feel if it was a multi-use? Because yes, dogs may not be there at the time, but you still have the issue of the heart of the issue, which is fecal matter and urine in the sand. So I just wonder how part-time would be,
For any part of town.
how that would influence the health aspect.
Choose not to think about
The sand is dirty. That's the end of the discussion. Wash your hands.
Any other comments, discussion?
I'm gonna just say sand is dirty, and anywhere you go is, you don't know what's really there. So, I mean, go home and take a bath or wash your hands when you're done. I mean, you don't know. I don't see how you're gonna,
Well, you're right.
at night, somebody gonna be down there and policing whether the dogs are walking across the beach or not? How about at Jacobs? Do you know how many dogs walk at Jacobs when nobody's around?
On Sunday, there were about 10 or 11 in 15 minutes that I was there.
Not on the beach.
Not on the beach, but.
In the area?
But in the parking lot, in the green parking lot, and down by the pavilion.
So.
We do allow
I
them
mean,
there, but not on the beach.
But
The
not-
sign says not on the beach, but we do allow them on leash in other parts of the park there.
I don't know, it's,
So, do we have
There
to
are
make a motion on this, or do we?
No, I mean, we've
Just have to
given
continue
Rick some directives and some
information.
questions that need to be asked.
Okay.
Before we have at some point in time, we're gonna take the data we get, we'll make some kind of a decision or some kind of a recommendation to the Board of Selectmen. Do nothing, do something, whatever it may turn out to be. But I don't think we're prepared to do that tonight, there are too many outstanding questions. And we could talk forever about, you know, things that are dirty and not dirty, and who touches it, and you wash your hands every time you go into a hospital room and stuff like that. This is a specific issue that's, could be troublesome and could be managed. Never controlled, but managed. But we'll see what happens. Budget workshop, are we still scheduled for the, it's item G? Are we still scheduled for 2 weeks from
The
tonight?
20th, yeah, just put it as a
And
reminder.
what time?
I think we said 4:30.
4:30?
I'm not gonna be able to make it.
Well, if you have any ideas or thoughts, questions, just get them to Rick, okay?
Go ahead.
And then,
I'll be late, shocker.
yeah, well, you'll have,
Shocker.
you're gonna have,
Tony, Ellen, and Terry.
the department heads, the
Give
three
you an excuse.
departments within Rick's domain will also be here to, defend. We're gonna do capital and the operating budgets will be later on.
Yeah, 'cause I haven't got anything yet on that.
Just so you know, what we do is, we ask the staff members to run the recreation department, field maintenance, that kind of stuff. Put in their requests for the items that they think they need in the next 5-year budget price. So basically capital items, large items, things that they'd like to see the department either try and get budgeted and/or purchase. And then we review that as a commission and make that as part of. The operational budget is done later on. The town provides us with, actuals from previous years, and Rick goes in and reviews category by category where we think we could save some money and where we think we need to add some additional things. So that's pretty much how that process works. But we do ask the department heads to submit their requests in years, maintenance and recreation. I already took care of item number 7, new business. We introduced our new commission member, Claire Kincaid.
You added
Oh.
H.
H, I would like people on the commission to consider, or if you want to step forward right now, Jenny was, as a member of the commission, also served as our liaison in contact on the Land Acquisition Commission. So if somebody here thinks they're interested, they don't meet on a regular basis. And it's gotten us involved in a couple of things in the past because they for example, the recent purchase we just made, although it was an extremely large land purchase, within that deed for that purchase, there's different kinds of recreation areas, right? Recreation,
For,
A and B, yeah. So what we would be able to do in any of the part of the area designated for public use wasn't much, but we've got to be aware of those things when they happen in the future. So if you're interested, just either let Rick know by email or step up at the next meeting next month. That's all I have. I hear a motion?
Motion to adjourn?
Well, you didn't get down to new business.
I did.
Claire was introduced, but
Yeah.
what about
Good job.
recognition of Jenny?
We said
She's
we-
not here.
She's
It's
not here.
canceled.
We canceled it.
How am I gonna recognize her if she's not here?
I thought you were gonna talk about some plaque or something.
Yeah, well, she's gotta be here
We
to
have to
receive
have her
it.
here.
But do you have the plaque to give to her
We have one
tonight?
for
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I second, let's be done.
All those in favor?
All those in favor?
Aye.
7